Okay, y'all, good morning, good morning. So, the weather is wet and damp. I'm on the fence about a few things. I'm definitely going over there to work. It hasn't rained like that. Yeah. So I'm going back over to my aunt's, and I'm gonna continue over there in that wooded area. I talked to a buddy of mine that works over there at the farm, at that farm right there behind there. And well, he told me that the owners didn't care as long as I put the fence back. Was there a tree that fell on the damn fence? Well, I had a tree that went this way off my aunt's property onto that fence, and there was a tree that went that way. So you got two pieces of wood that was on the fence. And so I told my guy, he's a foreman over there at that farm, and he said that as long as I put the fence back, it shouldn't be no problem, that I could, you know, put stuff. Of course, it's not his property, so, but I am fixing their fence as well. So, they can't have stuff fall on my fall across the fence and me have to dispose of that. And he says that whole area right there is well, they can't do anything with that land. There's an easement there, and then there is you know, the neighborhoods, you can't deer hunt or anything right there. So that was you can't be around that close to houses with a firearm. So I'll probably stash a lot of this stuff, those piles that I got. Not everything, but like the big trees and stuff that fell across the fence. And then I'm just going to use a machine to pick the fence back up. And then I'll go over there in the next couple of weeks. And so I'm going to take my stump grinder over there too. She got a couple trees in the front yard she wants to remove. There's a lot of work over there. And I have always really wanted to do some of the work over there, but I didn't really know what to do, right? You have to learn what to do. And of course, you got to have the equipment. I've never had the equipment like I have now with the know-how at the same time. Usually if I rent equipment, which y'all know I don't do too often, if I rent equipment, then I don't have a lot of know-how. Owning your own equipment, you learn know-how really quick. And you learn to know how to make your machine do things that you might not be able to get a rental machine to do. So I didn't leave the machine over there. There was a lot of reasons why I didn't leave the machine over there. You just never know. And you know, it's got 66% fuel in it, so I'm going to fill it up. I'm going to top it off again, and I could run it all day today without putting fuel in it. But let's go on and top it off. And yeah, and of course, y'all know I got out of the firewood game, but it was just becoming too much of a logistical issue for me. You know, and kudos to Chad, you know, for doing it. Chad did a great video yesterday. Y'all ought to go check it out, about how the thinking out here. And I tell you what, man, his thinking is well, to me it's spot on, because it's exactly how I think. And that's why a lot of times the videos are you know, don't make sense in a lot of ways, because, well, why would you do that, Ray, and not do that? It's the same kind of thinking that Chad was talking about. You know, well, I want to do that while I'm over here in this area, but I don't really want to do that one while I'm in that area, because, well, they're working or not working today, or it's a holiday, or it's not a holiday, or whatever, right? And just like Chad is saying, I mean, Chad and I, we think really a lot alike. Well, now he's a lot nicer than I am, but I ain't no mean guy. I'm just, you know, I don't know, I come off a lot meaner than I really am. But we think a lot alike in terms of how to make the most money in a minimal time. And his video yesterday echoes what I say all the time, in every way. I can't think of, you know, and of course his business is bigger than mine, you know, but his expenses probably are too. I don't know. But that was a great video you did, Chad, for real. And I love that kind of thing. I love the thinking behind it. We know that we can get out here and do the work, but you got to be smart about when, how, what, where, and why, and you do the work. You got to know the why of everything to really learn everything that you need to learn out here. And I know that everybody thinks that you're cutting grass, well, how hard could it be? And there's a lot more to it than just cutting the grass. You know, cutting the grass and doing the lawn maintenance, that's the easy part. The actual physical work, that's the easy stuff. The hard stuff is, you know, relying on help, making sure that you got enough work, scheduling, getting your density right, making sure you get your money, and, you know, being efficient on the job. And that's why Chad and guys like Chad and I have such a hard time with labor. If a guy don't make it a month or two, then he ain't gonna make it at all. And you can always tell really fast who's the who. So, you know, that's just how I think. And, you know, I assumed that a lot of guys in my spot think the same way. You know, Chad didn't have to work yesterday. I believe he didn't have to, but he wanted to. And that's the same thing. It's the same thinking that I have in my brain when I'm, you know, sitting at home and I got all these things going on in my head, and it's really hard to just stop and not do nothing. The only way that I can really just stop and not do nothing is to go out of town and and not take my phone. So, and I have been known to do that, but not normally. Kudos to Chad for all that. That was just a great video. I love the thinking behind the money making. You know, to me, doing the videos, you got to know the why. If you don't know the why, we do it this way or do it that way, or do this route today and not tomorrow. And it made perfect sense. He was saying, hey, so I know that I could go over there and do that property, the other property, and make more money today, which has been yesterday for him, but I know that I got to go over that in that general area tomorrow anyway, so to do another property, but I won't have time to do but one of them today. So let me go to over to the wood pile and work on that the rest of the day. I done made my money for today. That's what he's saying. I done made my money for today. I'm good. You know, and now I'm gonna go over to the wood pile where I can get the 90 bundles ready for sale. I used to do that exact same thing. Now Chad is doing the firewood, and the firewood is great. It really is. And if I had land somewhere that I could just go take trees and put them on the land, and then me go down there and process the wood, I'd probably still do firewood. I probably would. But the logistics for me to do it is just got to be overwhelming, because I have a lot of contacts. I could reach out and I could get more wood. I know a lot of people that actually work down there at the landfill. It's a landfill, but it's also where I dump all my you know, brush and stuff. A lot of times when I go down there to dump brush, I'll see nice red oak, water oak, white oak, and even some hickory down there, just big hunks of it. Of course, you got to know what pieces to get, and you got to have the ability to pick up big pieces, or it's too laborious for me. But if I had a spot, you know, just a couple of acres of land where I could put a road in, I would make me a wood area, to process the wood. And you could just about pay for the land with the processed wood if you can get enough of it. And it'd take a few years, of course, but it'd be worth it. One suggestion I would have for Chad, and he's doing great, is what I learned in doing the firewood, and it took a few years to really learn this, is the less I touch it, the better. And that is, and Chad will know exactly what I'm saying. You don't want to have to me, I didn't want to have to touch it. After the first, I used to move the piles around, all kinds of stuff. I used to stack the stuff nice and neat. After about 3 years of doing that, I said, no, I'm not going to keep touching it. I just throw it in the pile, and I'm not going to stack it anywhere, nowhere. Only time I stack it is when, like, I would stack it on the dump trailer. And that's another thing that Chad could consider purchasing, a dump trailer, because the dump trailer will really, to me, looking back, and this is just me, and I'm not telling anybody what to do or anything, to me, looking back on the firewood game, if I knew, then what I know now, I would have bought a dump trailer or some kind of dump truck of some kind, probably a dump trailer, because it can come in handy in other parts of the landscape business. And that's what I did. I bought a dump trailer, but the one thing that I didn't buy that really would have helped me is maybe like a mini skid, a cheap one, just something that I can use to pick stuff up and put it on a dump trailer. Something small enough to where I can, load it on one of my regular trucks. Like he's got those trucks, those trucks will pull a trailer, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure. He could put a mini skid up on the truck, and then he could pull a dump trailer behind the truck, and then he could go to anywhere, and he could pick up big logs and get the big logs over to his processing area, and then and not have to touch nothing. Not have to stack it on a truck. When I saw him picking up the big pieces and all, I used to do the exact same thing. And there's good money in the firewood, but like I said, it's laborious. And as long as you're in decent health, it wasn't never really hard for me. I didn't mind doing it, but my body was a lot younger than it is now. And that may be some of the reasons why I got my bad knees and bad ankles, because I used to lift all this stuff. I would pull trees out of the woods so big that I would have to roll them up on the trailer, roll them up the ramp. Y'all see some of the great big stuff that I used to get, and that's what I like to get, but I didn't have no equipment. And that, really made it a lot more time consuming. I used to use lawn mowers to pull the trees out of the woods and stuff. It was, I did that for 8 or 9 years. I had a 4-wheeler, and I know y'all, I used to have a Polaris 4-wheeler, Sportsman, and it's in some of the older videos, but I sold it because, well, the reason I sold the Polaris is because I quit doing firewood. And the Polaris would sit for 3 or 4 months at a time, and then it wouldn't start, and then it was just and I knew I could sell it. I only paid like $3,500 for it, and and it was an EFI. It was fast. It was pretty nice. But anyway, that's just some of the things that I would do if I look back on it. I would have bought the dump trailer earlier, but I did buy my dump trailer pretty early, and it was. Main reason why I bought the dump trailer was for firewood, but of course it helps in every aspect of the business too, especially if you have the ability to take lawn mowers and skid steers to the same job at the same time, because having a dump trailer in some of the locations that he goes to get the wood, and being able to pick the big logs up and get it to his spot, then he can just pile the stuff up, and then he can go and do wood for a week, you know, and get it all split. The only time I ever stacked the wood after, well, the first couple of years, I touched it a lot more than I should have. But after that, the only time I ever stacked it was when I stacked it on the dump trailer. And I would not stack it at nobody's house. I would charge, you know, whatever. I think it was, I want to say, it's a full cord would fit on my dump trailer, nice and flat. I mean, a full cord, not no face cord or rick or whatever they want to call it. A full cord of firewood is a whole lot of firewood. It's hard to picture it, but it's a lot of wood. And I usually cut the pieces about, I don't know, about 20 inches, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, according to how they cut the log. First thing I would do is go down the logs and I would mark them. You know, not with no measuring tape. I would just mark it with my little saw, and then I would kind of adjust, because you don't want to cut logs out like that, you know. So you might have to make them all roughly 18 inches to be able to get that last one to 18 inches or whatever. A lot of little tricks to it. Number one trick though is don't touch it any more than you have to. And number two trick is have help. Bo was the fastest log splitting guy I ever had. Yeah, and I just had a little old $1,000 Honda log splitter. Had a Honda engine on it. I think it was Troy built, and it lasted for years. I ended up selling it. I mean, when I bought a skid steer log splitter. The last videos I did was of the skid steer log splitter. But kudos to Chad for the thinking. I love those type of videos. I do, because I often wonder what other people think about. What do other guys in my spot think about, you know? So I wonder that a lot. Okay, y'all. So here I am over here, back over here. I tell you what, this is looking pretty good. Just kind of wanted to do a 360 here. That's a part of the fence that's come down because, well, 2 pine trees fell on it. But I probably will take out some more saplings. The first thing I want to do though is I want to get all this stuff I have piled up and cut up. I want to get that out of here before I cut down any more trees. I'm going to cut down more though, but I don't know what kind of footage I'm going to be able to get today. But I might put y'all on the fence over there, and yeah. But once I put the cutter back on, it's going to be just to kind of, well, you know, grind some of this stuff, just keep going back and forth. But there are 30 years of stuff like this, you know. So I went on and cut this tree into 3 pieces. So we'll get that picked up and get that out of here. And just kind of, you know, clean up. And I may even come back over here tomorrow. There's a lot of work over here, man. And you know, we got family coming this weekend, so yeah, we'll probably grind that stump down right there with just with my cutter, and yeah, it's a lot of work in here, man. I wish I could find a better place to go across the fence and right there, because those 2 trees are going to minimize my stuff, and you got to be able to stroll it out everywhere, you know, in the woods back there. Okay, y'all. So y'all can kind of see what I've been doing. That's pretty much all I'm going to take on out the back broke fence. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get this right here up, stump and all. I'm just going to push the whole thing over. It's just a trashy tree that's all up on the house. It's creating a lot of, and probably at some point, not today, I'll probably end up removing this tree right here too, this sweet gum. These big trees right up on the house, I hate that, man. But you know, the expectations over here are, well, they're not a lot. They're not high. So, but y'all see, I took about 10 buckets out of here. Y'all might have seen that with the other camera. And now I'm going to put the, I'm going to get this tree down and I'm going to take it back here. I'm going to try to take the whole tree down and pick the whole thing up and drag it to the back. And then I'm going to put the brush cutter back on. And now I can go in here and I can just brush cut all this. And that'll get all these little humps down and everything. It's going to be pretty nice. Now I'm not all the way at the property line, but I'll ease over because that tree right there is the line going that way. Y'all see that tree, that with the red on the tree? I had the GoPro going. I don't know how much footage I got, but we'll see. I got all the big stuff out of the way, but y'all see the little road. And then what I'm gonna do too is I'm gonna put after I get that tree down and get it back here, I'm gonna put the cutter on. And when I put the cutter on, I'm gonna go up in here and where I drops a pile and grind some of that stuff down. Looks like the GoPro's still going. So, but I'm probably not even gonna get over into here. It's just not, I might get to this stump right here and get that stump down and just grind all this down. Yeah, this looks a lot better. But I'm gonna have to put the fence up right there. And I didn't the one that broke it down. But y'all can see where I put a brush right there, but that's all brush, so I'll be able to grind a lot of that down to nothing and shoot it everywhere, minimize it. But what kind of fence is this? Come on, man. So it won't be much. I'm just going to use the bucket to pick this part right here back up down there. It's on the ground, and yeah. So the GoPro, the GoPro did pretty good. I bet that sucker about to be dead though. It was on time lapse, and I don't know how much I got, but y'all see I got all the big piles out of here. So I mean, it's a given that it's going to be, you know, I mean, debris on the ground. So that's bark right there. I'll be able to get to all that. That's bark. You know, yeah, but once you run the brush cutter on all this stuff will all be, well, it'll be good enough. I mean, I'm not even opposed to us going and buying. And like I said, I got some damn bob wire. I got a lot of it, and it didn't cost me nothing. And I'm pretty sure I still got it. I don't think I threw it away. Surely I didn't. I got it on a roll. So we could just go from this tree right here. I mean, this fence is not nothing. And to that tree right there, and we're done. As far as, yeah, and I could even put a log right here. So yeah, it's looking good though, man. Y'all gotta admit it is looking pretty freaking good, a lot better. But I want to get in here now. I want to get this one more tree down that I can't really grind up. It's just gonna be too much and get that back there, and then put the cutter on, and then we're just gonna go back and forth in here, grinding this stuff down, you know, smaller and smaller. Yeah, man, this is looking really good. Yeah, I like this. There's a pile right there. I need to grab that pile too, I guess. Well, I'll just grind that down. I done took enough big stuff across there, but I'm gonna set y'all somewhere where y'all can see me get this tree right here. It might be a little sketchy, I don't even know, but I'm gonna try to push the whole tree over, either right this way or in there. We want to get that whole root ball out. Yeah, man, it's just an ugly tree, man. I don't know what kind of tree it is, but it ain't even healthy. So yeah, well, I'll put y'all on the fence right there.